Hello, welcome back to sunny Norfolk. It's getting towards the end of May now. I thought we'd have a bit of a walk around and an update from Heathcroft Garden on the progress since my last month's video. Things are coming on apace now. We're getting towards summer. It's been very dry. We've had 2 months really without rain. We had a brief shower the other day, but I was doing some digging yesterday and you wouldn't even know it had rained, to be fair. The soil is really dry now. Anyway, let's push on, have a look around the garden. Bootia palm that I moved 2 years ago now. As we look up the top, lovely fresh growth coming through, so it's obviously got its roots down and settling in. Some of the older leaves from when I moved it, the tips, if you can see there, are browning a bit, but that's a thing they do naturally anyway. So yes, echiums are flowering. We're heading towards summer now. That's great. Oh, before we go around the back, if you watched before, you'll probably remember that when I moved the palm, I had an interloper, or an echium, that was growing from the trunk of the bootia. It's been there for several years. I used it to reorientate the palm when I put, so it faced the same way to the sun when I moved it, but this year it's got a flower on it. If you can see up there, tiny little flower, and as you can see, we've been remarkably dry for the last 2 months, and to be honest, I haven't watered it. It's just got by on whatever moisture it could glean, but yes, there's no flowering, so it's done its job. I got the palm back in the same position with the help of that, facing the sun again. So yeah, it's done its job, and it's now having its moment in the sun. Interesting, these bootias. These are self-seeded. They've grown for bootias. Echiums have grown. They came from my last garden where they used to spontaneously appear, because once you can get them to flower, they self-seed everywhere. But what happens is, if we go from this one to this one, different colours appear. So this is nearly white with a slight pink tinge of anything, maybe slightly blue, compared to that purpley blue and this purpley blue. So yes, nature's a wonderful thing. As you can see, it's quite windy here today, but the sun is shining, which is the main thing. So that's a quick update from the front garden. Let's go and have a look around the back. And just as we get to the back garden, the sun has gone behind a cloud. Never mind. Right, what have we got down here? I'm quite pleased with how the back garden's coming on. I've only really been gardening here for 2 years now. Yeah, well, yeah, 2 years. I think we've been here 3 years, but I just left the garden to start with. There was so much to do inside. I've left, if you've not viewed before, a further shrubs that you'll see I left in from the previous owners. I've slowly been evaluating things, taking things out, giving things a chance. I've now just about managed to plant all the plants that I moved from my previous garden. Some have been in pots, some went straight in the ground, but we'll have a look around and see how things are going. What have we got to show you here? Trachycarpus. I didn't move these, but the one here I bought and dug up and moved from a garden last year. Now seems to be settling in well. New green leaves coming out, fair size, so I'm happy that's settling in. Do things along the back there, just out of the greenhouse recently. Musa sycamensis, as you can see, it's been in the greenhouse. It's really slow to get going this year. The stem is all still firm, but it is slow to get going. But there is a new roller leaf coming, so that's good. Two cannas in pots. Another trachycarpus, now in flower. That went in last year, so that's doing quite well. What else can I show you? Oh, everything is not well in the garden. I've been putting this off. I've done it earlier this morning. What you see laid out on the grass here was pseudophanix. Look at it. I moved this from a previous garden. I had high hopes for the first 6 months. It looked like all was well, but slowly, one by one, the leaves dropped. I watered, I held off water, I staked it, I unstaked it, I tried everything. I think it just didn't like the move, if I'm being honest. It's a sad loss. I think that's probably the only plant I lost with the big move. Everything else I've moved seems to have gone okay. I've planted a replacement, a little one. I shall miss. It's the trunk, the bark is makes you want to touch it as you walk past, and I did that for some years, a lot of years in fact. But there you are. You can't have everything well in the garden all the time, so it's I'd put it off and put it off, but I came to the conclusion this morning it had to go. It was sort of looming over the garden like a skeleton, really, so that's done. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. Let's push on. Gingers, cannas, colocasias, all coming up. These benefit from the heat from the greenhouse a bit. We'll just drop down here and look. There's an echium here that's self-seeded, that's decided to grow right across the path. I'm not unduly worried. I'll just walk round, let it do its thing. It won't flower this year. Hopefully next year, if it gets through the winter, it will flower. Enset Haniba. It's been in the ground now about a week or two. It's putting a new roller out. It's a bit slower than I was expecting, to be fair. I think the cold nights haven't helped. It was growing quite well in the greenhouse, and then I decided to plant it out, and then we got the cold nights, but it's still pushing rollers out, so hopefully that'll settle down and sort itself out soon. Cycad there, out for the summer. Pond area. Oh yes, the arum lily. Oh, and there's a little blackbird come to watch the proceedings. Anyway, I digress. The arum lily, look at that, Hercules. Putting out its wonderful flowers. Lovely white flowers. If I can get you in there to look. Over the fantastically large speckled white leaves. What's not to like, really? Fantastic plant. It's slowly been bulking up. I really want a bit for my front garden. Maybe I'll try a bit of division later in the year. I was looking the other day, but while it's looking this fantastic, I was loath to touch it at the moment. Indian bean tree over there. I had a fatsia in there. I've changed it. It was too sunny here for it. Fatsias prefer shade. And it soon let me know it looked terrible. So that's out, that's in. The reason I've been doing things around here is I've been putting the new fence up this weekend, which is very nice. My wife said she wanted to see the view over out the back of the garden. So what I've done, we've reached a compromise. In the winter, I don't want the wind whipping through the garden. It's very windy today, hence you're not seeing it in view mode. But so what I've done, where these 2 panels here are actually half panels, so they slot down and the top slots up, and when you remove it you'll get to see the view over there, which is what we wanted, or what she wanted, and I must say I'm not adverse to looking, so yes, very nice. Anyway, let's push on. The European fan palm. If you've joined me before, you'll know I moved this from my previous garden. I was a bit concerned it kept putting out dead fronds, horrible looking things. End of last year it started pushing out green leaves, which is great. I had one more brown one from the winter, and I can, if you look carefully at the top, you'll just see there is a flower coming out. So I was concerned about this the big trunk here. I thought all the energy was going into the smaller one over on the left, but no, I think all is well, so that's good. So that's now pushing through. Persicaria, due for a little trim up soon. If you look carefully, there's now tiny little flowers on it. It's not grown for the flowers, it's grown for the foliage. So to keep it looking at its best, really, you need to just give it a little trim, a little haircut anytime now, really, and then you'll get loads of fresh new growth again. Bergmansia, it's doing well. It's had the winter in the greenhouse. I planted that out last week, I think, and if you look carefully, if I can get you in there is some buds forming, so hopefully some flowers on there soon, which will be good. So, as I said, even after the loss of the big Pseudopanix ferox, there's its replacement. I put that in a year ago or so. Quite an absurd plant, really. If you look at the top, you can see it's pushing on new growth. Curiously, they only display these big, strange twiglet-like leaves when they're young. The one I've removed was displaying the adult foliage. Once they get tall enough and out of grazing animals' reach, the foliage changes, which is an interesting thing for any plant to do, really. Next to it, another Pseudopanix chainsaw, that one is. Very similar, but more toothed. If you look at the leaves there compared to those, more toothed leaves. There again, that should go up. They're quite a spindly thing. If we look up here, you can see that Pseudopanix grassifolius. So you get a long trunk, and depending on how they're grown, foliage on the top. It used to hold it slightly further down. I moved that from my previous garden. I'm not sure whether that's what dropped some of the leaves, but if you look carefully up the top there, there's definitely new growth coming, because I can see it coming, so that's good. Right, what else can I show you? Walk this way. The tree fern that I've had for 1/2 years now and has done nothing. Look at that. Fronds coming out everywhere. What a lovely sight. I'm really pleased with that. I wish the wind wasn't quite so strong, because they're dancing about merrily, but it's putting out loads of fronds, so it's obviously settled in now and doing its thing. The big one is doing the same. If I can get you around here, let's see if I can see. If you look up to the top, the new fronds, croziers, whatever you call them, are now emerging at pace. So yeah, pleased with that. That's good. Oh, I haven't shown you the echium round here. We looked at the ones at the front earlier, but this is another one that I'm not really sure. I didn't plant it as such. It appeared it must have came with another plant I moved into the garden there and has done its thing. But yes, it's going up. A bit like Jack's beanstalk, really. But as I was saying, if I can get you in here to have a look. Just, you see the bees? The bees absolutely adore echiums, absolutely adore them, which is good because bees are to be encouraged. Right, let's wander back this way. Another tree fern. There again, I love them when they're fresh and green fronds like this. Rosias, whatever they are, coming through. Fantastic. Lovely lush green growth this time of year. Choice here, just about finished flowering. It looked wonderful. 2 days ago, this wind unfortunately has blown most of the petals onto the ground from the flowers. Brachycarpus princeps, slow but steady and doing its thing. Pseudophanix Moe's toes is doing well. Then we come to this beast, Tetrapanix papafire rex. If you saw my previous short video, you'll see the big leaves here, or these leaves, 3 lobes. These ones are proper shape. But it's definitely, I usually do that before flowering, but I would say that's definitely now got 2 growing points in there. So whether it got slightly damaged in the winter or not, I don't know, but there's no flowers, but there's definitely a lot of new growth coming through. So that's good. Camellia there, look lovely, but that's now finished for the year. It's had its moment of glory and sort of just disappears back into having shiny green foliage, which is no bad thing. Another Trachycarpus has settled in there nicely. Looked a bit yellow when I first moved. It had languished in a pot for many, many years, but now it's putting out nice green growth. That's here looking well. Butiagrius palm. I overwintered it in the greenhouse. I was a bit concerned. They'd been imported. I didn't want to plant it straight into the ground. I wanted to give it time to acclimatise slightly. I've seen and heard varying reports on the hardiness of these. They promise great things, and to be fair, mine is looking well. I'm somewhat concerned that they're proving to be slightly more tender than people thought. Maybe it's inherited a bit more queen palm genes rather than the boutia genes. Don't get me wrong, it's doing well. I planted it out at the beginning of the season as soon as I could. It's in the sunniest spot I can provide. So it gets sun most of the day. The soil warms up quicker here in spring than the rest of the garden. I don't know. I am concerned. What minus temperatures it'll take, I really don't know. I can't really, or don't like to spend loads of time protecting palms and plants in the winter. I will protect it. Once you can get them to a certain size, all plants become hardier. The boutia we were looking at in the front garden, the big one, in 2010 endured -17, -18. It looked horrible for about a year afterwards, but it came through, it put new foliage back. I'm not saying this is going to be anything as hardy as that, but I have seen reports of them being damaged at -4, -5, which doesn't fill me with confidence. But I bought it as a lovely palm and I'd like it to do well, so we'll see how that one goes in the winter. Musabasju, good reliable standard banana for the cooler climate. This was a division of my original plant from my other garden. I brought it here, nowhere near as big as this. It's now getting its feet down. Ignore the stinging nettles, but there are some babies coming around the bottom now, pups, so hopefully that will settle in and will look quite stately in a few years. manioc here, still in a pot. I'm not sure about the hardiness of that either, to be fair. I'm growing it on. I'm trying to build up some woody stem, which it slowly is, before I risk planting that out. But that's another one. I'd really like it to succeed, because what a fantastic foliage plant it is. Let's have a little wander over here. Over here, I left the colocasias out all winter that you see here. They've all come back. They're quite protected here, to be fair. I'm doing a bit of an experiment, really, just to see which are the best, which come first, which show up first, how long they last, whether they all get through the winter. One winter isn't really enough to tell, so I'll leave them in, see how they go, and I'll keep you updated on that one. Brahera Marta is doing well. Not been planted that long. It's opening the frond, you can see here. Been doing that for the last week or so. There's another one at least coming, so which, if anything, looks bigger than the previous one, so that's good. So that's hopefully settling in. We'll have a little walk along here. This is my arid bed, fully planted up now, plus it's got a few pots and bits and pieces stood for the summer. Everything is doing quite well so far, and if you look carefully here, my first cactus flower of the year. I always think cactus flowers are wonderful. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. I've had that cactus for, let me think, 30, 35 years. Used to live in my daughter's bedroom for many years as a little thing, little plant. Obviously, as time moved on, I acquired it. I planted it into this pot. I'm sure if I potted it on again, it'd fill the pot out, because it just grows as thick as can be. Quite hardy. I forgot it for a couple of times in my last garden. It didn't have any protection, just sat there and saw right through the winters. So not even sure what the name is. If you know what it is, please leave a comment below and I'll put a label on it. So yes, the new bargain buy from B&M, the triple trunk trachycarpus. I'm watering that, keeping an eye on that, but all seems well with that. And that really is a roundup from Heathcroft Garden. We're now at the end of May. Flaming June next, and everything should get going apace. Everything has now been fed that needs feeding and watered. Well, our pigeons come to join us. They like to come down, they have a drink out of the pond. But yes, I digress. And he's off again. So yes, please do join me again at Heathcroft Garden. If you enjoyed today's videos, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. And I'll catch up with you next time here at Heathcroft Garden.